Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the third episode of the West End Imps show. I'm your host, Jake Tong, back this week with the Forest Green review. Chris, how you doing, mate?
Good morning. Yeah, good. Thanks, mate. Are you?
Well, as you can tell from my voice and how I look, I'm a little bit ill, a bit worse for wear, but we want to get this preview out to the people. Forest Green, then, Chris, at home.
Yes.
A game you'd expect us to at least try and win?
Well, I think we had the chances to win. I think we should have won. Frustrating point, really. Weird game. I think the heat, it's not an excuse, but it's had a massive impact. And I think some of the players were really struggling around the sort of, Tom Hopper, bless him, he looked like he was really struggling, didn't he? But yeah, I think we should have won it. I'm hoping that that's not going to become a conversation that we're having every Sunday morning. We should have won it. We should have won it because probably should have picked up, at least one win out of the 3 games and arguably 2. So, yeah, a frustrating point, but a point. So, I'll always look on the bright side, and we remain unbeaten.
And when the team news came out, I think we were unchanged from the Pompey game, the last league game we played. We surprised that some of the lads who did really well in midweek against Doncaster weren't able to forge their way in. Like obviously, Teddy Bishop was forced to play in out wide again. Sean Rowan didn't get an opportunity, and neither did Charlie Kendall.
Yeah, I wasn't massively surprised. I think the only surprise for me was Bishop being put out onto that left side or the right side. I didn't expect Kendall to start, and I think Robson's the number 1 left back, isn't he? And I think Rowan will have to take his chances and continue to just focus and impress when he gets those chances. But yeah, I wasn't massively surprised. And then obviously had to make the change in the first half with Oakley Booth being injured. And I think that really shifted the balance of our team. I think, Bishop, he needs to be playing in that attacking midfield role. And I just feel sorry for him because he's a bit wasted, isn't he, out on the wide position?
Absolutely. I massively agree. Like you mentioned, Oakley Booth coming off with a shoulder injury, it looks like.
Well, I was listening to Mark Kennedy's post-match interview, and he said he was ill, and he was ill before reading between the lines, it sounded like he was ill before the game, but didn't tell anyone, and just couldn't carry on. And in that heat, that's probably not a great decision that he's made there.
That means we got to see Jordan Garrick make his first appearance for the club. How did you think he did? Because I was really, really impressed towards the last sort of 20 minutes of that second half where, we didn't really want half time to come, did we? Because we kept making loads and loads and loads of opportunities and we just couldn't take them.
Yeah, he was outstanding. Yeah, I don't think there's any other way to say it. I think he was our best player by some distance. Exciting. He's the player that we've been missing the last season or so. I don't want to build him up too much. It was his first appearance, but if that's the kind of base level, then we've got a lot to look forward to. He was really aggressive, really proactive, and just was always on the front foot, always looking to get in behind. And I think he's strong, but he's got a lot of pace as well, and seemed to have good positional sense. Had a really good couple of chances, didn't he? In the, I think, early stages of the second half, I think he had a couple where he was through and the keeper made a good save. I think we've got a lot to look forward to with him.
And it was Garrick who forced the way for the goal, really, wasn't it? Forced the defender to bundle it over the line, 1-0. It was sort of drew some similar parallels to the Exeter game where we were good towards the sort of end of the first half. And then the second half, we started off a bit like a rocket, and then ultimately getting the goal this time to go ahead. And once you thought we were ahead, you thought maybe we're going to go on and put this to bed. But unfortunately, with 18 minutes to go, Conor Wickham, quite unfortunate, wasn't it? The goal that sort of held up for him, and Regan got bullied off the ball, and Wickham put it away nicely.
Yeah, I think it was TJ actually that got bullied off the ball. Really quite a disappointing goal for me because I think TJ really should have done better. He wasn't strong enough. Conor Wickham's a big lad, and you know what you're going to get from him. good goal from his perspective. He was strong, and it was a good finish, into the roof of the net. But there was opportunity for it not to have even got into the box, that we weren't able to, keep it away from that area. And then once it goes in, I just think TJ just probably will be thinking he should have done a lot better. I think we seemed to just sort of sit back a little bit once we'd gone ahead. And I understand that in the context of the heat. Those players, it must have been really brutal for all of those players out on that pitch. It was hot enough sitting in the shade in the stand, without kind of running around and being in the sun all of that 90 minutes. But yeah, disappointing goal to give away. And then I think actually, we'd probably be grateful to come away with a point, because they looked like they were possibly going to be in the ascendancy a bit more after they'd got back into it at 1-1.
Yeah, they really threatened, didn't they, after they got the goal and nearly went ahead. Quite a few headers that went just over the bar. We're quite bewildered a little bit by the substitutions that Kennedy made. Obviously, Ben Howe's coming on the left-hand side to start with, then Charles Burnham coming on. We're a little bit questioning the substitutions that the manager made.
I don't know. It's difficult, isn't it? I always think if you bring in a player on with, just like Vernon came on with 5 minutes to go or something, I mean, it's really not a lot of time to do anything. I thought House actually looked good when he came on the left side. We were saying in the stand, weren't we? It felt to me like it was crying out for Charlie Kendall to come on and just stretch it a little bit that last 20 minutes, particularly Hopper. He was looking at around 60, 65 minutes. For me anyway, at that point would have been the time to take him off, because he was really struggling. And it's difficult with Tom, because he's a great striker, but he's not got enough around him for when he's trying to. He didn't hold it up brilliantly, I have to say. Yesterday I thought it didn't stick to him very well, but he was winning flick-ons, doing his best as he always does. But when he's quite kind of isolated up there, you can win as many flick-ons as you want if you haven't got the players around you. And you're not going to get that when you've got someone like Bishop, who's playing in a sort of position that he's not overly comfortable with, perhaps. But yeah, I think I'd have liked to have seen Kendall. I think it would have been a good opportunity for him to come on with that heat and just test those defenders a little bit more in that last 15, 20 minutes or so. Vernon didn't really get an opportunity to do a great deal in the limited time he was on. I was impressed with House, more so when he was out on the left rather than when he came up, when he went central. But he looked like he was hungry. He looked like he wanted to create, and he was getting into some good positions and trying to get some things happening and some movement up there. But yeah, it's a difficult one to call, isn't it? Because really, that heat, you want to be making 7 substitutions just to kind of get people fresh, but you can't. And we had that unfortunate use of a sub in the first half.
So 3 games unbeaten, then it's quite apparent where we need to improve in the transfer window. Do you think Kennedy will be looking for some more attacking creative players at this moment in time?
I've no doubt he will be looking. My feeling is that actually probably the position we really need is that striker. I think we've got quite good cover and options in the sort of 2 right and left wide of the striker. When we look at who House can play there, evident from yesterday. You've got Vernon, we've got Hacks, who wasn't even the squad yesterday. So I think that we need to have some more firepower, but equally, how much do you put in when you've made Tom Hopper your captain? It's going to be quite hard then to bring in another striker that's there to replace him. You can see why Kendall's there, because he's not going to necessarily be starting every game. But if we probably just need another option for that number 9 role, that striker, someone in the box. But yeah, so I've no doubt that we'll be looking at getting in another 1 or 2. I do wonder if 1 or 2 might go. One that I wouldn't be averse to cashing in on, I have to say. I think they've been particularly disappointing. But yeah, I think we should be expecting another signing. What do you reckon? Do you reckon we'll get any more?
Oh yeah, I think we'll probably, like you're right, a striker probably seems to be the right fit, doesn't it? Even though, like you said, making Hoppy a captain makes it a bit more difficult because they're not going to start, are they? Unless Hopper is injured. And Charlie Kendall doesn't seem like he has the faith in Kendall in the league, but is quite happy to play him in the cup competition. So maybe that's where we see Kendall sort of bursting into life this year, and then hopefully, making a mission to start next year. Now, before I won't be able to go on too much longer, guys. I am feeling really ill, but thank you Chris for coming on. It's 8 o'clock on the morning. You're going on holiday later, so thank you, mate, for coming back on.
Thanks for having me, mate. It's been another good weekend. So yeah, we'll on to Tuesday, innit?
Absolutely, and we will review that game. You're probably looking at Thursday. That review should be up. So thank you for watching. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We are trying to reach 1,000 by the end of 2022. So if you'd be able to help me get there, that would be fantastic. And until next time, Chris, up the Imps.
Up the Imps, mate. See you later.